Ever get that feeling? You're looking at a blank canvas and suddenly, bam, you see the whole masterpiece in your mind.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we're talking about today. Turning big, ambitious goals into something real. Using just the power of, well, picturing it. Visualization.
The cool approach to goals, right? Not just your typical to-do list, but really tapping into how our brains work.
Exactly. And not some new age thing either. This is the painted picture framework. Seriously, it launched 1-800-GOT-JUNK. Junk removal. Who knew it could be so successful?
Right. And the founder, Brian Scudamore, didn't start out some big businessman. Just a pickup truck,
Ah.
Dream.
Okay, so picture this. It's the late 90s. His business is stuck. Then, boom, this idea hits him. He sits down and writes out his 5-year plan. But not just bullet points.
I bet.
Full-on vivid details. Trucks with the company logo everywhere he looks. Franchises going global. A team that's like buzzing with energy. The whole shebang.
And that right there is where things get interesting. See, visualizing your goals. It's not just wishful thinking. It preps your brain, gets it ready to actually achieve those things.
Wait, for real, so I'm not spacing out daydreaming? There's like actual science behind this.
100%.
Yeah.
Studies show when you really picture something, your brain, it's activating the same pathways as if you were living it.
Wow.
Like a mental rehearsal. It makes you believe in the outcome more.
That's kind of wild. So how does that translate to like real results, this mental rehearsal?
Here's an example. There was a study, right? People just imagined exercising.
Yeah.
And their muscle strength increased.
No way. Okay, so the mind is powerful stuff. Back to Scudamore, though. He had this bold plan, this junk empire, but it didn't just magically appear overnight, right? What was the next step?
You're right. No magic. The big shift happened when he decided to share his vision.
So instead of keeping it secret, this painted picture, he told people. Interesting. Why was that so important?
It's like you build momentum, sharing your vision. You're not just saying your goals out loud. It's more like you're creating this like support system and people keeping you accountable too.
So you've got a whole team cheering you on, pushing you to that finish line.
Yeah, exactly. With Scudamore, when he shared this painted picture with his team, it stopped being just his thing, his dream. It became everyone's mission. They could all see where they were going.
And that got everyone more engaged, more excited to work together.
Totally. And look at the results. 1-800-GOT-JUNK. A tiny startup to this huge global franchise. All because they shared that vision.
Makes sense. It's like they say, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
That's it. Okay, so we've painted our picture, right? Shared it with those closest to us, but how do we actually make it happen? Can't just be daydreaming all the time, can it?
Yeah, how do we take action? What's the secret ingredient here?
Okay, so the main thing is breaking down your big, huge vision into smaller, more doable steps.
Okay.
Like milestones, right? On a roadmap to your big goal.
So instead of I want to write a novel, it's more like this week I finish a chapter, or I'm going to map out the whole plot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. These smaller goals or process goals make the big one less scary. Every milestone you hit, it's like this boost. You feel accomplished, you want to keep going.
Right. It's like when you check something off your to-do list, but way more satisfying.
Exactly. And speaking of lists, the article, it really stresses being specific. You can't just say, I want to be successful. What does it even mean? You got to define it. What does success look like for you? What's it feel like, sound like?
So instead of I want a thriving business, I'd be picturing like my dream office, hearing the phones ringing off the hook, clients giving amazing feedback, even the sound of me typing away, closing a big deal.
100%. The more senses you use, the more real it becomes in your mind.
Yeah.
And the easier it is to achieve.
It's like upgrading a blurry daydream to like a full-on HD movie, but in your head.
You got it. Don't forget about actually tracking your progress, though. Numbers don't lie, right? Seeing how far you've come, it keeps you going.
So if my painted picture is, let's say, running a marathon, I'm tracking my weekly mileage, my pace, maybe even my resting heart rate.
Exactly. Those numbers, they help you celebrate the small wins along the way. And if something's not working, you see it, you adjust.
This is all making a lot of sense, but what about when things get tough? Because life never goes exactly how we plan it, right? How do we stay motivated when we hit those bumps in the road? It's easy to get discouraged, right? When you're in it, you kind of forget about the big picture. So how does having this painted picture help when things go wrong?
It's like, think of it as your North Star,
Yeah.
When things get tough, you start doubting yourself, you look at that picture, the one of where you want to be, it brings you back, gives you that push to keep going.
It's like always having that reminder in your back pocket. of why you started this whole thing in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not about being totally rigid either.
Yeah.
Life changes, right? So maybe your goals change too.
Oh, for sure.
It's more like that painted picture. It's not set in stone. You can always go back, tweak it, adjust as you go, as you learn.
Makes sense. Our priorities change. We experience new things. Our goals change too. It's only natural.
Right. This whole framework, it's not about being stuck with one outcome. It's about like using that power of visualizing to create the life you want, one that really fits you, your values, your dreams, all of that.
This has been amazing. So we covered the science behind it all, how to actually use it, so much good stuff.
Well, don't forget, the most important thing is actually doing it. Taking action, really believing, and putting in the work. That's how your painted picture becomes real.
So as we wrap up, here's something to think about. Picture yourself 5 years from now. You've done it, achieved all those goals you painted. What's it like? What do you see? What are you doing? How do you feel? Hold on to that feeling, that success, because if you have that clear vision and you're willing to work for it, it can be yours.
First step is picking up that paintbrush.
Right. This has been The Deep Dive, and we hope this episode inspires you to do just that. Grab your metaphorical paintbrush and start creating your own masterpiece. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.